Let's see, back it up a little bit more. Get a picture of what we're doing here. Okay, what we have here is basic electronics. This is a class here that we study the very basics of electronics, and we are using a supplement kit here, which turns into be a two-part radio. And you can see some of the students that we have in class here, very serious students, working along the way. There's Scott Donkers there and a few others. Class of, most of these kids are class of 86, a little bit of 85, a little bit of 80, well, not 84, I don't think. Is there any 84s in here? No, they're gone. 86, 87, and 88. Over here are some students working on, like we were saying, their project this time. Mr. Vietz here, a senior, is attempting to do some soldering and mount his components on his board. This is a breadboard operation at this point, where we take the entire radio, 7-transistor radio, and put it on here and study the components and how they work, and then take it all off and put it on a printed circuit board, where it comes into to be about a 3-inch by 8-inch radio, 1-inch thick. This is a 1-semester class, which can go 2 semesters, which normally does in the school year. So it's a full year if students care to take it. Now I'm going to interview some of these people here and their plans maybe. I know they're a little bit camera shy, but most of them will succeed that. Would you mind, Mr. Vietz, if you could give us some plans about your future here? What do you plan on doing when you graduate?
Maybe go on to an electronics institute.
Where in the cities maybe, or?
Possibly Minnesota Institute of Technology.
Great. Great. What we have in here is wood class. What you see is kids working on their projects related to all wood projects, as you can see. It may be a little loud in here because of the sound. It looks to me like there's mostly seniors, and yeah, shut off the planer. Yeah, it makes a little bit of noise. Could I interview you just a moment here, Mr. Henry? Okay. What class do we have here?
Wood Technology, second year.
On doing in the school year?
I don't know. Yeah.
You mind, Mr. Henry? We'll just kind of look around a little bit here.
Sure, go ahead.
Here's our noisemaker, the planer. Making here, fellas?
Making our doors for our cabinets.
Hi, Gary. What are we doing here?
Making a roll top down.
Sounds great. I'd like to see it later on. Here's metalwork class. As you can see, all the machines and equipments that we have. And rolling around, you see the class is pretty much over here in the back where the classroom area is, and partially around the bench. We'll go see our instructor, Mr. Newton, and find out exactly the name of the class and so forth. And coming around here. This is Mr. Newton here that has our class. Mr. Newton, what is the name of this class we have here?
Metal Tech 1.
Metal Tech 1. And this is a one-semester class, Mr. Newton?
It's one semester, and then there's a second one that follows it. It's a prerequisite for the second one.
Sounds very good. And about how many kids do we have in class here?
19.
19 kids here. Right now they're working on a project. Could you describe a little bit about the project?
They're making a toolbox. It's our measuring and layout exercise. We find that they're very weak in measuring and knowing the divisions of an inch and this sort of thing, and this is how we start out.
That's very fine, Mr. Newton. Could I take some pictures around here?
Sure thing.
Scan it and see how it looks. Over here we have some of our students studying here. You can see they're quite busy here and looking things over. One of our fine junior students are working there. And there's Troy, class of '86, sitting there. Over here we have some foundry work. I believe they're making handles for their project. Fellas, what are we making here, Ronnie? What? What are we making here?
Handles for a toolbox. Yeah.
And we take and melt them down in this furnace over here. Is that it?
Yep.
And are you guys about ready to pour pretty soon?
Yeah, we are.
Are ya? About a minute?
Yeah.
Let me know just before. Thanks. Here's the kids, they make up a pattern, which is right here. And these are handles for a toolbox that you saw the kids working in different stages. And what they're doing is they're making up a mold which they've made in this here sand, and they're almost ready to pour their mold, and it'll form up and solidify and come out as a finished product almost. Just a matter of a little fine tuning, and then it goes onto their what they look like. That's the handle. It was just lifted up there and part of the toolbox. I believe the students are about ready to pour, but I believe Mr. Newton is saying there's not quite enough metal left metal at this point to pour yet, so maybe we won't be able to see this. Inside that forge is thousands of degrees Fahrenheit at this point. Maybe we can get a close-up on that. Let's see if we can get a close-up on that. And, as you can see, the metal pieces are melting down into the pot there. Extremely warm. And here's the ingots. And then soon it'll be poured down into these molds here and turn out to be the handles. Pour these here in molten aluminum, and he sits down, he scags off the top surface of the scale. Good.
Hey, Mr. Temple,
What class are you in?
auto mechanics.
This is the interview of the auto mechanic class here. And what we're doing is looking at the class. I believe some of the members of class of 86. Is that correct?
Yes,
Right.
this is true.
Parents night, basically, fellas. And what are we doing right here? Let's see, you're Randy, aren't you?
Yep. This is the sink in there, and it's got to be cleaned out because it's all full of grease.
How often do we do this?
About
Every
once.
day, just about.
About every day, a little bit. And is this a 2-hour class that you're in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Early bird and first hour.
Okay. What are we, it's for a full year, is that right?
Most of the time, yeah.
most of it. Some people have one semester.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm going to move it on over to the shop and take a look. This is our auto mechanic shop here. And you can see we have 4 stalls, and it works out pretty fair for what we have. We'll go into the room now and see what we have. Door, and I'll turn around and scan the area here a little bit so you can kind of see where we're at, where we're. These are the fellas over here cleaning out the parts washer, or hand cleaner. Okay, let's go in here. Okay, in here is our auto mechanic shop, and as you can see, the people are working away here on their vehicles. See if we can find the instructor here. Greetings. You're Mr. Lessman, the auto mechanics instructor here. And could you tell me what class we have here at this point?
Excuse me, I didn't hear what you said.
Could you tell me what class we have in the shop here at this
We have an Automotive Services class. This class consists of 14 students. The students are conducting a automotive safety and winterization inspection at this particular time. They check 121 points of the vehicle. They vacuum the interior. You can also see they wash the windows. And they're working really well in a group situation. They have to cooperate very well with each other. This is a little project off on the side. Right now they're replacing valve cover gaskets. You can see right now he's taking the wire wheel and removing some of the excess gasket material that's been left on the inside of the valve cover. Once they obtain a nice clean valve cover, they will take the gasket, replace the gasket, put a little silicone on there, put the valve cover back on the engine, and torque it down to certain specifications. This will relieve problems associated with a lot of cars that have leaky valve covers. They're lifting the car off the jack stands. This particular car has to use a piece of wood, and we're putting that on the sway bar because this is a front-wheel drive vehicle and there's no particular cross member that you can pull this car up on, so you have to use a sway bar. They'll lower the floor jack down very slowly to prevent the car from jerking and having a possible safety hazard, as you can see. You can see all the students here should be wearing safety glasses just for added safety protection.
Right now, we don't have
Yeah. These two people are waiting for their vehicle right here. This is at Ford Escort. The community also gets involved in the safety and winterization inspection. It promotes good PR, and it also gives a chance for the students to work on different types of vehicles, to get different exposure on those vehicles.
Okay, that's real good. Are these parents that are sitting over here on our left here?
Yeah, these are parents of a student. I'm not remember what their names were, yeah, because we've had so many people coming in.
Do you have many girls in your own?
I have 2 in this class. One is absent today, and I have 1 in my second class. I would like to have more
Let's
inside
take a
here.
walk over here and see what they're doing in this truck.
Okay. Movie star.
Now, can I have the mic a minute? Gentlemen, we're interviewing here. Would you mind if I talk to you a little bit here? You're on live camera. Your name is John, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you're a senior this year?
Yeah.
And what are your plans after high school?
After high school?
Is it in the mechanic line, John?
Army for mechanics.
Auto mechanics someplace?
In the Army.
In the Army? That's good. And what are we doing here, John?
Right now I'm cleaning off where the valve cover goes on. There's a gasket that goes on around here. Got to have this clean so the valve cover will seal.
I see. And we were taking movies of the valve cover over here. Is that the one they were cleaning up with the buffer? Oh, yes, I see. And this is some of the kind of minor work that we do. Do you get into regular major work in this class? Where
We haven't yet, but in the second semester we'll be getting into more major work than what we're doing now.
I see. You think this is really a great class here?
Yeah, I've learned a lot in it so far, and this will help me out, and then when I go into the Army, their training will help me out a little bit more.
Oh, real good, John. I appreciate you talking to us here. This is for Parents' Night Thursday. Thank you. Did I interview you? All right, what grade are you in?
12.
Okay, and what's your name?
Stacy.
Pardon me? Stacy. And how long have you been working on cars?
This is my first year.
You enjoy this class?
Yeah, it's fun. I kind of doubt it, but I'd like to know something about a car.
About cars, like air conditioning and maintenance things that really keeps the car going. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, over here, what Mr. Lesman has is a points inspection thing that he puts out for the people, and it looks like the program is really going excellent here. I'm going to go over here and see if I can talk to these parents here. A couple, I believe, parents here, is it? And you're Mr.
Freshman.
I didn't hear you, sir.
Freshman.
And one of your students?
Right, he's a junior.
Right. And you're Mrs.
I'm Mrs. Preston.
I see. You're the mother then?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you think of this class? Do you think it's a vocational type of class?
Oh yeah, I think it's a real nice.
You're working out nice.
Very good.
And what do you think of having a girl taking this class? Does that seem different or no?
They didn't do that when I was in high school. I think it's a good idea.
It's a good idea. Well, hopefully this will move into where we have maybe more girls take this class, and at least if it happens to be into the mechanics area, maybe it'll be helpful in just general maintenance of an automobile. Things like that. So, well, thank you. First semester, and here are some of the students in the class, few absentees. Oh, I saw you before. You were down in Metals, right?
Right.
And what is your name again?
Sean Philippi.
Sean Philippi, thank you.
Star.
They're about ready to start working. At this particular point is a battery charger. We just got done reviewing a film. Now, Sean, may I look at your project here a little bit? Can you briefly explain what we have here?
There happens to be a transformer from a battery charger, and I rewound the primary windings on it, and I'm proceeding to wind secondaries.
Okay. This is going to be a battery charger then? Okay. Thank you. Now this person who's making the noise in the background here, your name is Chad
Orange.
and you're at a different stage here. And what do we have right here? This is the winding.
Winding of a transformer.
Winding for the transformer, and you have the wire wrapped up, and you're at winding this point, right?
Yes.
Okay, just go ahead. You're doing fine. Let's look at some other people here. I hear this man in the background. Maybe you'd like to be heard from and viewed by our people that are going to be watching this on Thursday all day at Parents' Night. Your name is Sean Howie, is that it?
Yep.
Sean Howie.
Sean.
Sean Howie.
Yep.
I see. What grade are you in, Sean?
10th.
10th grade. So class of 87, I believe.
88, yep.
88, I see. How do you like school this year?
Oh, it's alright, I guess.
All right. What is your favorite class?
Electricity.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, you keep up the good work, Sean. What are you working on now? Okay. Maybe what you should do is get your project out and start working on it. That might be a good idea. Okay. Looking around here, I'm looking for different stages of the battery charger. At this point here, this person is putting in laminates, I believe, and ready for a test on it. All the students have a notebook of instructions and so forth when they're working on this project. Excuse me. And your name is Greg? Greg Lors, I see. And Robbie Martinez? And what are you doing with your transformer here at this point?
I'm unwinding.
You're unwinding it, but I thought the idea was to wind it.
Yeah, but you gotta count it first.
Okay, I guess what we're doing here is we're taking old parts out of a TV called a transformer, power transformer, and we take the old wire off. Is that what we're doing here, taking the old wire?
Yeah.
And we're going to redesign it and start here what Craig Lures is doing. He's starting to wind the new wire back on of different proportions and different sizes. Over here is another stage. And this here is, again, we're putting laminates in, and maybe I'll get a close-up view, zoom in on it. And see how the process of putting the iron into the transformer, which helps concentrate the magnetic field to make a more efficient item. What this project does is quickly charges a battery. It's not a trickle charger. When you get done with this project, it'll be mounted on a chassis and have two cables sticking out that you can easily connect to a battery and charger. It's about 10 minutes. Oh, Mr. Howie again. Let's see. Really, in reality now, Mr. Howie, like we are mostly, let's take a real close-up view of how far we are here. See that? Okay. So really, though, you're doing a little bit more than just reading Auto Shopper every day, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's good. In case your parents come in. So this is basically Electricity 1, the first semester, and the second semester what we do in there is about 8 weeks to 10 weeks of house wiring experiments, and the last part of the fourth quarter of that semester we work on electric motors and appliances and things like that. We have basic electricity, second section, and we're cut back in numbers a little bit here because of absentees and people not in the room. Same thing, same project here of a battery charger. Over here we have a student testing his at a certain stage. Now
Don't move it now.
okay, can
This wire's going underneath the handle. Look at that.
excuse me, Jay. What we're doing here is testing a winding of how many transformers here?
Three of them.
Three trans. Okay, now is one, pardon me, what's your name here?
Jason?
Jason, and you're in 10th grade?
Yeah.
Okay, and your transformer's here?
Nope.
It's not here. You're just watching this at this point. And whose transformers are these, Jason?
I think it's Jason DeMars's.
Jason DeMars is one of
Yeah.
yours?
Yep,
And
and Rick Greasing,
Rich Reesing?
Bob Pitt.
And Bob Pitt. This is over here. I see. Now, what you've done so far is wound these 3 transformers, and at this time you're running a test on them. And that test is trying to tell you if they're going to stand up over a period of time. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
Fellas here? That's correct. Okay. Now, what's the next step at this point?
Well, I have to put my secondary winding on over the primary. And then after that I test it again and see if that's going to hold up. It'll look like this when it's done.
Okay. There is one here that's wound with the secondary on. Okay. And this eventually is going to end up as a battery charger and hopefully last for a small engines class now. Actually, this is the metal shop, the old metal shop, and what we have here is a bunch of kids now working on their projects and workshop. At this point right here, they're working in disassembly of their engine, small little 2.5, 3-horse brakes in Stratton. And along with that, they have a notebook here that they follow step-by-step procedure. See if we can zoom in on that. As you can see, as we go along on this, we zoom in on a little bit maybe. Book will give them a procedure step-by-step for the disassembly of the engine. Tool cabinet. Lockers where they keep things in. People that are camera shy. People doing work over there, studying parts for their small engine.
Some guys want to be seen over there.
I did, but I mean it's.
Where's the mic?
What?
Where's the mic?
What mic? Oh, right over there.
The drawing class at Faribault Senior High School, people working at their places here. And I'd like to see if we can find the instructor, which is right over here, Mr. Newton. Could you tell us the name of this course, please?
With 2 classes in one. We have architectural construction and basic drawing.
Okay.
We run them both at the same time.
And this is a 1 semester class here?
1 semester, and then this prerequisite the 2nd semester. The architectural class goes into architectural design.
Let's, could we just take a brief idea of what the plates here? Let's see, your name is Ray, isn't it? Yes.
No.
Could you tell us what number drawing this is you've made this year? About the 10th or 11th? 12?
15.
15. Sounds good. Just kind of walk around here. Now what we're doing this, fellas, for is Parents' Night. So let's try to be on your good behavior as you always are. This is a cover for your notebook, is that?
Yep. That's what we're doing today.
Okay, here we are in another section of small engines. The kids are working on their small engines. And of course, there's always people that are always looking up information about their engines. Good upside down view here, huh? Mounting this particular engine and device will eventually be run. A little fine tuning on top of the block. Excuse me. Mr. Scott Delilan here working on the head of his small engine. Again, we're mounting another engine. In this shop here we have metalworking tools, and so being though this is a small engine class, we do use the equipment here for working on, for instance, cleaning up this valve. Dave, what grade are you in?
10.
Okay. What do you think of small engines?
Neat. At least I know how to use my hands and different things. Learn how to use different tools.
Do you think you'll be taking another industrial art class before you graduate?
I don't know. I might.
Maybe auto mechanics, woodwork, metal shop?
Auto mechanics.
Maybe auto. Well, good luck to you. Small engines class, 1985.
Last a long time and give really good service, then it's ideal to change the oil in the filter every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first, the time or the mileage. But now, you're going to change the oil, and you know there's all